Alright, welcome back. We continue our personal story playthrough of Guild Wars 2. We are on Season 2, and we are about to start the next chapter. Let's go ahead and grab that here. So it'll be the fourth chapter out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in Season 2. So we're sneaking up on the halfway mark for Season 2. Dragon's Reach Part 2. So that is not a Part 2 that I have delineated, because of the videos or anything. It is the Dragon's Reach split into two parts because that chapter, I guess, as ArenaNet envisioned it, required two releases to play through. So, let's check it out. Dear Tasha, hope this finds you well. For my efforts to get the Queen to the summit haven't gone as smoothly as expected. Okay, so this letter should be a surprise to us because previously Queen Jenna had already agreed to go to the summit. So to hear otherwise would be a step backwards in our efforts to gather world leaders together and get them to attend this summit with the desired end state of all of them agreeing to join together to fight Mordremoth. That's kind of where we're trying to get to. However, short version is someone spreading rumors Queen Jenna not only met with Evil Scarlet, but also conspired to give Scarlet the mechanical watch knights. Okay, so this really has to do with the human race and the internal politics there. So Countess Anise has suggested that Kasmeer get to the bottom of this because she has an intuitive ability to, well, it says find the cat. She has an intuitive ability to detect deception, which you think would make her more in demand in the, higher echelons of the human leadership over there, but apparently not, because her family, as a result of something that we don't know exactly what it was given the boot from human, Crichton, royalty or whatever. So, or nobility, I should say, Crichton nobility. Her family was booted out of the nobility, but and apparently that was bad enough to keep this highly useful skill from being employed. But now Countess Anise wants to employ it, and Casimir's like, I don't want to do this alone. Will you come help me? I, I guess, Casimir. You could just kind of be a grown up and do things yourself. But sure, I will do this for you or with you. This is coming off the heels, just kind of a reminder of where we're at in the story. So we managed to bring potentially Newt Whitebear on board from the Norn by helping Air with some errands, essentially. No pun intended. And we've got the Char on board, although the mechanism for getting the Char on board involved helping Ritlock in his effort to kind of put an end to the Ascalonian ghost threat that the Char faced. And in the process of doing it, he was partially successful. He was, I would argue, marginally successful. But it was good enough to get the Char on board. Unfortunately, in the process, that's a look. The ritual that Ritlock was undertaking went different than expected and opened a rift, apparently some sort of portal into the mists, and Sahathan, Ritlock's fancy named sword. Oh, wait, yep, there we go. Okay. Went plunging into this rift, and Ritlock went in after it. So Ritlock is now MIA. That's kind of the big thing.
Queen Jenna can't attend the summit because someone has accused her of conspiring with Scarlet. The hearing is the same day. Someone's lying, and we have to figure out who.
That's like oddly inconvenient.
We can confront that person and get them to recant their statement. We need to talk to everyone, find clues to the truth, and build evidence to defend the Queen. Once we discover who among them is the mastermind, we'll take action. But be careful. These people are suspicious and sensitive. Say something too blunt or off-putting, and they'll clam up. If we're obviously undermining their plans, they'll have us escorted out of the party, and it will all have been for nothing.
For nothing. Well, we don't want that. So this is a very kind of unusual instance in that it's has the potential to be relatively long. It's fairly well developed, yet it involves no combat. Now they do that from time to time. Like that in of itself does not make it unique or even that interesting by ArenaNet standards. But this one is done pretty well, I think. I don't love the idea that we would just confront some bad person who's conspiring against the queen, and that they will then like relent or whatever. But the overall execution of this instance, I think, is actually pretty good. Ooh, we get music.
Introducing a hero who needs no introduction, the commander of the pact, and accompanying the Kasmeer Mead.
Keep it together, Kaz. You can get through this. Be confident, like Jory.
Kasmeer, come over here. Don't look so glum. Care for an hors d'oeuvre?
Hello, dear Kasmeer. Don't worry your little face over what the Herald's papers say. You'll always be noble in my eyes. Countess Anise. That's direct and kind of you to say. I'm afraid I don't feel particularly noble.
Then we must do something about that. Nobility isn't in the blood, as so many believe. It's in your choices. Your return to grace is only a pardon away. If your talent for detecting lies is all you say it is, well, let's just say I'm confident we can convince the Queen your value overrides your father's misfortune.
I only hope to be of some small service, Countess. Oh dear. Okay. Let's start picking apart everything they say. One of these ministers is spreading lies about the Queen.
Don't misunderstand, Countess. I'm certainly grateful to you for purchasing my billet and putting me to work. I'm just not sure I understand the reasoning behind dragging me to this soiree of yours.
Okay, so a couple things. Countess Anise, her interaction with Kasmeer. One, I don't know why they make Kasmeer like so fragile and like needy. Like I don't fully understand that choice in terms of their character development. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that I don't love it, and I feel it says like weird things about Marjorie because Marjorie is kind of like overwhelming. And so now it almost feels like Marjorie's relationship with Kasmeer is like I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic. But it's fine. Whatever. So Marjorie is like this extremely fragile person. So Countess Anice's dialogue there with Kasmeer does feel a little out of character with Anise, but only if we take it as her being genuine. If we take Countess Anice's
Care for an hors d'oeuvre?
dialogue as her being somewhat like as kind of two-faced, and I wish I could have said that word. That would come off like way smoother, right? But if we feel that she's kind of condescending and patronizing to Kasmeer, then it is 100% within character. So whenever I play through this instance, that is genuinely how I perceive all that dialogue. I don't feel like Kasmeer is, like Anise is truly encouraging Kasmeer and wants to see her family reclaim its place within the nobility and all this. And we don't even know, like, I have no idea what Kasmeer's dad did and what, how the family was disgraced. As far as I know, that's never introduced anywhere in any lore. And maybe it is, and I just don't know about it, but I certainly don't recall it. So I just feel like Kasmeer is being used by Anise. And Anise does that, and we will see it even within this instance, which is a nice segue to... So here we have Canuck. Now, in terms of the original playthrough, we've already seen Canuck before. He was kind of conducting some almost borderline terrorist activity, or maybe just outright terrorist activity down in South Sun Cove when South Sun Cove was first rolled out. There was you enter over here and go in under this and engage him and defeat him. And then he ends up being taken into custody by Anise, and so now he's serving out his sentence with Anise. So when he's talking about Anise purchasing his billet, essentially she has put him to work. He, you know, if he's ever going to return to normal society, it'll be through paying off his debt to Anise. That's what this is in reference to. And one, so it's worth. This is, as far as I know within the story, this is the first time we see Canuck after the events of South Sun Cove. But it is going to be an introduction to him as a more regular character going forward, and really a more likable character in some ways than many of the others that we're kind of forced to interact with. So I am a fan of that whole thing. I do like him as a character. And of course, everyone likes a redemption arc too, right? And that's kind of what Canuck represents early in his time with us. But his interaction with Anise, specifically in this instance, serves a function. There's a reason for it, and so obviously, you know, we're going to get to see that as we progress through the instance. So what are we trying to do right now, though? We need to interact with some of the guests and see if we can learn more about the accusations against the Queen.
More wine, please, waiter.
And I don't remember exactly who we're looking for. Is it these two
I thought for
jokers?
certain it was Minister Wee who attended court the day Scarlet was there. Are you sure?
So now that we got close enough to this guy, of course, we get the green star, but also his dialogue, which cues us in that he might be someone we want to talk to. And when we mouse over, we see we got the talk to thing versus just the arrow, as tends to be over most of these folks, not Kasmeer, because we can consult with her. But all right, so I have a vague recollection of that crazy Silvare walking into her audience with Queen. This was well before the attack on the city, by the way. I wish he had said mind you, but by the way, I still don't know why I noticed her. I was expecting to see Mr. Wee's wife here. Lady Wee, she gets the vapors. All right, feels very Old West, but all right, she gets the vapors. Fragile constitution. Kind of like Kasmeer. Poor dear can't keep up with her husband. Apparently neither can I. I thought he was in court the day Scarlet's had an audience with the Queen. So we're going to play this off with a joke, right? Because if we are way too aggressive here, then we raise the suspicion. So a joke. It's a dour look on all their faces, but seriously, it is rather difficult to confuse Minister Wee with Estelle or even Arton. My memory isn't just what it used to be. So another joke, well, which one did you confuse with Wee? Ha 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 ha. I saw Estelle enter the throne room along with a goat farmer, Minister Arton, so two prominent... And I don't... We never get like a class, an introduction of any kind on how exactly like the Kryta's weird, like sort of pseudo parliamentary monarchy type thing works. But there seems to be some nobles that are like very prominent and significant. Estelle, Arton, and Wee are among them. And then there's a whole bunch of like random nobles that apparently are like, they're if you were to take like the U.S. slant on this, they are not senators; they are representatives within the House of Representatives, right? So they are in Congress, but have less clout maybe than others. So Estelle and Arton are significant, and they were in there along with the goat farmer and Scarlet. All right, cool. So.
Hearing afterward that Scarlet approached the Queen. No one paid any attention back then. Scarlet was a nobody until the Queen's Jubilee.
Okay.
No one's touched the souffle.
Good. This guy's pretty upset. No one's touched the souffle. Not what we're here for. Although souffle does sound okay. Like I could,
And then he asked me which pair I wanted, to suggest I couldn't afford both. Why, I should have slapped him on the spot.
Probably should have. Okay, so she actually has the dialogue thing, but I don't believe that is who we want to talk to. I think we're up here to talk to Minister Wee. Not sure why she has the dialogue thing. Why not find out? How Lady Anise persuaded Chauncey. I thought Chauncey was a cat. This is truly the classiest occasion I've attended since Lady Wee's clam bake. Lady Wee has a little rebel in her. She insisted we call her seafood banquet a clam bake. So edgy. So edgy. These nobles are quite a thing.
They make me so uncomfortable, especially ministers. Excuse me, are you eavesdropping?
Eavesdropping? I'm not eavesdropping. I actually thought we were up here to talk to Wee. Apparently not. Oh, is that Chauncey? There's Chauncey. Haha, my boy. Okay. You do realize, I'm sure, that it's rude to eavesdrop. were you? No, of course not. The last thing I would ever want to do is eavesdrop. I just wanted to introduce myself because you're a smoke show. Far better looking than everyone else here at the party, and how could I miss the opportunity? It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Lady Allison. My companion here is Lady Brenda. And how you enjoying the party? Some of the guests seem rather tense. I wouldn't think anyone could ignore such a beautiful night as this. I'm quite sure that some ministers prefer dark nights to sunny days. Yeah, I've met a few of them. I return as regularly as I can. She's not lying. Well, I don't know. She hasn't said anything that, like, would... Yeah, I don't know where, Kasmeer's elite skills really aren't on display here. She hasn't said anything that would really constitute a lie in any way. Like, she hasn't been asked anything direct and has not discussed anything of significance. So, you were saying something about the party? Some of the guests seem rather tense. Is there a particular... See, so now our little suspicion bar goes up. There is an achievement. In fact, I think it's down here. Gain the maximum amount of suspicion. Well, we don't want that. Complete the party investigation using only 12 necessary conversation steps. I don't know if we're going to get that or not. I thought there was one for keeping the suspicion bar, but like at a certain level. But I could be mistaken on that. All right, Mr. Codicus. So he's another one of those really significant ministers, nobles. And we already know who he is, right? We've already encountered him in story. And if you include the story mode dungeons as part of the story, which we did not do on this playthrough, then we would have encountered him in a dungeon as well. He surrounds himself with intrigue, cloaks, daggers, shadows, all that nasty business. Once he has you in his sights, you're doomed. Well, that's serious business. Alright, let's, do we want to drive up the, I just want to get out of our dialogue here. Oh, so we need to, alright, so we're going to end up driving our bar up here. We're driving it way up. Alright. Because I'm botching up the whole thing here. So, for what it's worth, if you were to go to the wiki, then there's like, as I recall, there's like a breakdown on like the most efficient way to progress through this. I don't have that open right now. I genuinely don't have any interest in doing it that way. That to me is not that fun. I will occasionally use the wiki or a YouTube video or something for like an achievement if I'm really stuck, but for a story instance, like that's silly, right? All right. Kotick is behind it, but he never involves himself directly. He has others do his work, like Estelle and Art. All right, so...
Codicus would be involved in anything that undermines the Queen.
Right.
But he's not the one accusing her. We have to find that person.
Well, so how do we know he's not the one accusing her? Like, I thought we were trying to find out who it was in the first place. Like, maybe it is him. It's not, but, I mean, like...
He was up ill all last night. I told him not to eat that fourth pie.
Shouldn't have eaten that fourth pie. Okay, so we got one more green circle here.
Am I to intimidate these ministers and aristocrats to put them off guard? Surely you can't imagine that these dandies pose some kind of threat to you?
I want that as an outfit.
Paying attention, or do you simply not care? Either way, you are a maddening woman.
She is, in fact, a maddening woman. Okay. Let's continue to move here. So this area should look familiar. In this party here, it's accessible to us, and we're about to go in there and talk to some more folks. But if you look in relation to where we are, we remember, this is the pavilion. Here's the big, eagle thing and stuff. This is a VIP pass normally. And thus we see, the Mystic Forge thing up there and so forth.
I see Minister Estelle has political ambitions. She's been having a lot of private meetings with Minister Codicus.
Oh? Should we ask about that? Maybe that's the wrong one.
What? Minister Estelle is being pressured by Minister Marula to retire? Well, she would never. She's far too ambitious.
Is this our guy? This is our guy. Alright.
Melissa aid you.
I'm going to get more punch. It's so fruity. Ah, well... Cool. I got a question for you first. Only if you make it quick. I'm so excited for the fruity punch. I
I
bet
can
you
take
are.
that.
Oh,
Thank
we
you.
got a timer. We better make a decision. Is that why Minister Estelle wants to retire? Lack of excitement? Oh, good. Our bar didn't go up. Undoubtedly, she likes to be in the thick of things, but Codicus has had her doing clerical work lately. She meets with him regularly, from what I've heard. He'll talk her out of retiring, I'm sure. I'm sure too.
Minister Estelle. If she's been meeting with Codicus, she may know something.
So we learned a few things. First, who was in the court that day, right? Scarlet, a goat farmer, Estelle, and Arton? Indeed. Indeed. And we know that Codicus lets others do his dirty work for him. Alright, yeah. I mean, but everybody already knew that, so. Estelle and Arton have seen Codicus lately. So we're just going to go talk to Estelle and Arton. I don't know that... I mean, is that really, like... Is that the slickest way to go about this?
Fisk is fantastic.
Stop right there. I don't care about your dog's new haircut.
Neither do I. This is one of the things... So, it's interesting...
You seem distracted, Countess. What are you looking for in this crowd? I could lend my eyes and ears to your search.
I can take
If
that.
there's nothing in particular you need me to do, would you mind if I help myself to some of your refreshments? Am I really so dull? Well, here's something interesting. Would you like to know how long a severed head remains conscious? I suppose not. Do let me know if you need me to do more than make debutantes and fops uncomfortable.
Alright, so this is an ongoing thing. Kanaka's getting frustrated with Anise, seemingly being distracted or disconnected from what's going on. We'll get to that here in a bit. Hi, everybody. I'm the commander. As I was telling my old friend Codicus the other day, we really must do something about these bandits. They are a hazard. I have reason to believe they're connected to the White Mantle. What? What? We get to more of that later. Much later. Later. Did you see Scarlet the day she had an audience with the Queen? We just gonna come right out and ask. Does that drive the bar up? Apparently not. I did. There were 4 of us in the throne room with the Queen and Countess Anise. And the guards, of course. It was Scarlet, me, Minister Estelle, and some dirty farmer with a goat. Alright, so we now have confirmation, right? Which leaves us with really
See you, Minister.
limited witnesses on whether or not, the question of whether or not the Queen conspired with Scarlet, right? Because Scarlet's not going to tell us. She's dead, by the way. Minister Arton here, Minister Estelle, 2 ministers, and a farmer. And the concern is, of course, that one of these ministers is acting against the Queen, so we really need the farmer, right? All right, and the Queen spoke to Scarlet. Polite as always, but the Countess kept whispering in the Queen's ear. It was making us all nervous. Scarlet wanted permission to study with the engineer that designed the Watch Nights, and the Queen declined. Scarlet was last in line, and the Queen left before there could be any more discussion. Scarlet tried to say more, but the Queen apologized and hurried out. The Savari, Scarlet looked livid. She stormed out, shoving guards out of her way. She was rather frightening, actually. I imagine that's what Countess Anise saw that made her hustle the Queen away. Yeah, I don't know why we're asking Kasmeer whether or not that lines up. I also don't know why we're doing it right in front of Arton. Let's come over here and actually do it with Kasmeer. Alright, Kasmeer, what do you think? His description of events perfectly matches what Anise told me. Well, and also everything that we've literally just talked to other people about. So Arton must not be the one, because he's telling the truth right now.
You've convinced
Alright.
me. It looks like Minister Estelle is the one spreading
It does.
this
It does
horrible
look like that.
rumor. Let's keep at it. If we're going to confront her, we'll need serious evidence to back us up.
Okay. So we've now decided specifically where we're going to target. We believe Estelle is behind this, but now we want more evidence. So this is where we're going to get in danger of raising this bar even more. Let's see.
I know for a fact the Queen had a private talk with Scarlet. How? Everyone is saying it's what must be true.
Indeed. How horribly... Lady Claire. Have some class. It's just a rumor. I saw her in Salma District shortly after nightfall. She wore a black woolen cloak with a hood up. The only reason I knew it was her is because I bumped into her and saw her face. What do you think? Her eye twitched when she said it. You're lying! Listen, just between... We're so smooth. Look at us. I may not be telling the exact truth, but they offered me a lot of gold if I'd say... Man, Lady Claire gives in, real easy. Who made the decision Lady Claire was going to be their They're patsy. They should have vetted her a little bit better. You're gonna have to testify. Oh, all right. I'll never say who paid me. I don't betray old friends. Still, I wasn't comfortable lying, but my son is ill. Okay, so now we kind of get an idea of how the person who paid her targeted her in the first place.
Good observation. I had a feeling she was lying. The Queen wouldn't hold a private meeting with just anyone, much less a Silvari with no political connections. This woman will testify.
I hope so. I mean, she gives in so easily. I can't help but wonder if, she's vulnerable to do it again. But okay. She's going to keep flip-flopping back and forth.
Is lying a prerequisite for being in the ministry?
Is lying a prerequisite for politics? Yes, 100%, bro. Makes me so sad to think that people who run our city, our kingdom, can't get along with each other. Well, bro, pretty naive. Now one of the ministers is spreading lies about the Queen. I've had some experience with ministers. Not all are bad. Both my wife and I work for ministers. They can be like night and day. My wife works for Minister Estelle. I work for Minister Art. And what do you think? Most days, he likes his job. That's what he's responding to there. Most days I like my job. My wife has a harder time. Her minister has a gambling problem. If she's winning, she's fine. If not, she's dangerous. Oh. Okay, so we see a vulnerability within Estelle, who's actually right. There she is. Okay. Would she know where Estelle was the night of the alleged meeting? Maybe. Estelle often visits her old lady friend, Lady Claire. Alright, so what did Lady Claire say about not exposing who paid her? She wouldn't betray an old friend. Ask my wife if she knows what happened. She's a good woman, and I won't lie to protect a minister. Oh, she's a good woman and won't lie to protect a minister. Okay. We need to find her wife?
Help us prove the Queen's innocence. Nicely done.
Thank you, Kasmeer. I do what I can. Is this other green circle his wife? I actually didn't think it was, but maybe.
You seem distracted, Countess. What are you looking for in this crowd?
You must be mistaken.
I could
My
lend
niece
my
knows a
eyes
guard
and
who
ears
heard
to
from a
your
doorman
search.
that the Queen... Oh.
If there's nothing
I've
in
said too much.
particular you need me to do, would you mind if I
Alright.
help myself to
Another
some-
noble with something to say. I was going to try and catch this, but he's saying the same thing over again, so. Yes, oh, I'm well known in these parts. I'm a rock star. Queen recently mentioned you were hosting a summit. She'd like very much to attend. It's my hope that she will.
Do let me know if you need me to do
No, that did not work. Alright. It may be complicated for her to attend. Oh, I know. These lies Estelle is spreading. Can you imagine our barefoot queen skulking through the streets at night in disguise? It's laughable. Yeah, so, Queen Jenna doesn't wear shoes. At this point, like 10 years into the game, 10 and a half, sneaking up on 11 actually. We're like 10 years, 8 months now. It's kind of become like a meme, like a running joke that she doesn't wear shoes. And of course, now you can get the like the invisible foot armor so that you also can not wear shoes. It's kind of a whole thing. You don't think she met with Scarlet? In the throne room, yes, but not in the streets. A Char emissary visited the Queen that night. While the emissary since left, the guard who was present will testify. Oh,
Countess Anise hardly
okay.
ever lets the Queen out of her sight. She and the guard will corroborate the Queen's alibi.
Okay, that's good. What else do you think? Do we have enough evidence to discredit her accusations? Well, the servant's wife can testify that Estelle met with Lady Claire. We have multiple witnesses who say the Queen turned down Scarlet's request.
May I take your glass? If you're finished.
I still can't believe that Scarlet wanted to study with the Watch Night Engineer. Thank the gods the Queen turned her down. Though that might explain Scarlet's anger when she attacked our city. What else? We know Estelle's friend was lying for her. Yes, that was Lady Claire. For a pouch of gold, you mean? Estelle must have coached Lady Claire. I don't imagine it will be too hard to get her to testify to the lie. I guess they weren't such good friends after all. Bum, bum, bum. Alright, I
Looks like
guess
we got
we're going to
everything we
confront
need.
Estelle.
Time to expose Minister Estelle for the liar she is.
Alright, let's do it.
Gentlemen, please leave. I see you've been busy socializing with the guests.
So have you, from what I can tell.
What?
Alright, so this is like she's been keeping an eye on us. She's been watching us as we've talked to these different people. We're socializing. That's what we do. We're preparing to be a politician as well. We know all about you, Minister Estelle. Listen closely to what Estelle says. When she's finished, don't be afraid to ask her to repeat what she said. Press her only when you're certain she's lying. Is it true you work closely with Lord Codicus? Well, I used to work with Lord Codicus, but now that I'm considering retirement, I've started spending most of my time in the Ministry Library. I hardly ever see him. Oh, tell me more. Admittedly, I occasionally do small tasks for him, but he's still recovering from that awful scandal. He keeps to himself most of the time. Even at parties, Lord Codicus is off doing his own thing, and I'm left to my own devices. I'm just a wallflower, really. Kasmeer, what do you think? She keeps backpedaling. I didn't see her backpedal at all, but press her when she lies, and then present your evidence to counter her arguments. Can you repeat that? Here we go again, right? So, used to work with Lord Codicus, retirement, Mystery Library. That's not what I heard. Why would I lie about something like that? He's my boss's boss's boss. Well, I mean, she's a minister, so that might be a bit much. But I met someone who says you see Codicus often. You attended his garden party. Oh, we're driving the suspicion bar way up. We're going to end up driving the bar up. Shy, huh? A witness said you had an aside with Codicus. He talked. You nodded. Well, so they talked.
So perhaps I misspoke. Apologies. I shall revise my statement.
We lost the achievement for like, so the next closest thing we can get is, if we want an achievement, is the maximum amount of suspicion, but without getting thrown out of the party, which we really don't want, because I don't.
Is this a party?
So what if I work with Lord Codicus? It means nothing. It doesn't change the fact that I was there when Scarlet had her audience with the Queen. Did you hear what they discussed? No, they spoke too quietly, like schoolgirl friends whispering. Tell me more. Must have been lost in my own thoughts, while the Queen and Scarlet conspired deviously. Alright. I heard the word watch nights. Isn't that bad enough? Do you know how many people died because the Queen can you repeat that? Okay, I don't... Like... Must have been lost in my own thoughts. I heard the Queen was escorted out. How could you possibly know how they behaved? Unless you questioned the goat? Spoke with Arton. Yes, well, okay.
Aren't you the nosy one?
Care for an hors d'oeuvre?
If you must know, I'll tell you what really happened.
Alright, once more. It doesn't matter what happened in the throne room. The Queen arranged to meet Scarlet later that evening. She didn't want any of us to hear them, so she sneaked out. Is it sneaked out or snuck out? You're sticking by the claim that they arranged this in the throne room? Absolutely. Their foreheads were practically touching. They were so chummy. They agreed to something. What else could it be? It was brief. A look, a smile. Maybe they'd already arranged to meet later. I don't know. All I know is I saw them under that bridge. It was the Queen and Scarlet. I'm not the only one who saw her. There was another witness who came forward, a nobleman. Why are you working so hard to protect Queen Jenna? She sold us all out, and now she's trying to cover her tracks. It was definitely Jenna in a red cape. Can you repeat that? Alright, we're going to skip this. I don't think it's worth driving our suspicion bar up more. Saw them under the bridge. What time did you see them? About an hour after dark. They were in Salma district. The Queen was in her office with the Char emissary. Not the only one who saw her. There was another witness who came forward. Yes, we know you paid that witness. Ooh, our bar is way up. Someone paid her to lie, and I suspect it was you. She sold us all out, now she's trying to cover it. It was definitely Jenna in a red cape. But Claire said it was a black cape, alright? It was a red cape, I think. Have you forgotten? You're trying to confuse me. It was a red cape. I'm sure of it. Dark red. If you and your old friend can't agree on the color of the Queen's cape... The Queen was in a black cape. Countess Anise was in a red one. Did I forget to mention they were both there? Yeah, so now she's just manufacturing stuff. Oh, and we're gonna come over here and talk to Kasmeer. Is that a good time to just, like, leave the I guess because our bar was way up, right? We have to eliminate any doubt at all. If there's even the smallest chance that Estelle's telling the truth. She's not, but we need to hear Anise say she wasn't under that bridge. I'm sure I've sensed it if there's some kind of mesmer cover-up. Doesn't matter. I know the Countess... I'll know if the Countess is lying when we ask her. Alright, well. I guess we're gonna double-check with Anise just to make sure there's no confusion here.
In absence of your orders, I've been occupying myself by
approach her.
planning the
It's an
extermination of
illusion.
this entire
I am
gaggle of
elsewhere.
creaming fools.
Find me, and
I
we shall
thought
talk.
maybe some well-placed bombs here and there among the topiary, Or perhaps I'll pick them off one by one with my blade and hide the bodies in the pantry. I wonder, would that reflect poorly on your office? I imagine I'd become a hero to the Crichton people, and still no reaction. I wonder, Countess, are you even here at all with me?
Is it here at all with me, or here with me at all?
Hors d'oeuvre.
So we were listening to Canuck, who has obviously got smart to Countess Anise, being this is a mesmer illusion. But we also, because I was trying to listen to it, we kind of missed it. Anise actually gave us like a kind of a whisper from back over here. Stop, don't, which is why our green circle's over here now. Stop, don't approach her. It's an illusion. I am elsewhere. Find me and we shall talk. Here's Anise skulking around. Alright, what's up?
My apologies for the deception, but I must go to unconventional lengths to protect Kryta.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Minister Estelle is claiming that you were there at the secret meeting. She's implicating you.
Nonsense. I was at no such meeting. I did, however, receive a mysterious message signed only with the initial E. The note said that Estelle was in a bandit gambling parlor when she was supposedly spying on our queen. Reminding her of this will be enough to make her drop her lie, faster than Farron's dignity.
Well, that would be fast, right? Alright. So good old E.
Countess, but I finally realized my part in your misdirection. If you can hear me through your illusion, don't worry. I will continue to draw the attention of your guests.
Why did I hear scrit noises? Alright, so thus we now understand, like, Canuck's role there, right? Why are you here, by the way? I'm on the job. Bodyguard for a countess. Somewhat more glamorous position than my last. You mean your position as a prisoner? Yes, thanks for stating the obvious painful truth. Technically, I'm still a prisoner. It's just now my bars are lined with velvet. That being his service to Countess Anise, right? The Countess owns you now? Well, that's harsh. I wouldn't say that. More like I'm on loan to her from the prison. So long as I'm a good grunt, she'll keep me with her, and I don't have to go back to the cell. So, you plan on behaving yourself? Absolutely, I'm no fool. I could be in a much worse situation than this. I guess you could say I learned my lesson. I know I have a reputation for acting rashly, but those days are behind me. Alright, so we don't believe Canuck right now. You're in a crowd of many watching me like a hawk. So far, Countess Anise is treating me with respect. I have no reason to betray her trust. Besides, she amuses me mightily. So we're just gonna make threats against Canuck. Kind of unnecessary. But again, at this point in the story, like, we still associate him with being a bad guy. We haven't learned otherwise yet, right?
You again? I hope you're not planning another interrogation. This is a party, if you haven't noticed.
I am actually planning another interrogation. I imagine Countess Anise had a lie to cover up her presence at the bridge. It's her word against mine. Actually, Minister, it's several people's words against yours. What are you talking about? Has someone said they testify against me? We have witnesses who will support Countess Anise's story. Traitors to the ministry. Traitors. They'll find themselves in the streets soon. I doubt it. The Queen has positions for those who are honest and honorable. Well, this is all kind of like a back and forth, right? There are those of us who see through the ministry's lies, and our numbers are growing.
I'll have you know I'm very well connected, and
Your connections can't help with this. We know what you've been up to.
What do you mean?
We know you couldn't have witnessed this supposed meeting with Scarlet. We hear you were busy meeting with some lobbyists that day.
Lobbyist? What are you talking about?
So much for subtlety. You were busy gambling with some ruffians.
Keep your voice down. That's a baseless accusation.
Is that so, Minister Estelle? Perhaps you and I should speak privately and sort this little mess out. Please follow my guards. I'll be with you shortly.
Oh, we got her.
Countess Anise, thank you for inviting us to your party. It's been an entertaining and productive evening.
No one is more delighted by your presence than I. With all that socializing and skullduggery, you must be craving the longest of naps. Now that this messy affair is out of the way, I feel fairly certain Queen Jenna will attend your summit. I think Minister Estelle will soon see the value in cooperating with me, rather than rotting in prison for treason. I may have use for her. On a separate note, I do hope you will stay and join the Queen's entourage, Kasmeer.
You mean travel with the Queen to the summit? I'd be honored.
Yes, I think that's the right play. You will, of course, have time to relay the full details of your father's story at that time.
Oh, I don't think the Queen would be interested in...
Nonsense. Now go. Say pretty things to my guests and enjoy yourselves for the rest of the evening.
I think I've said enough pretty things, but okie dokie. So Kasmeer gets her own little redemption arc here, starting now. And Anise has, you know, she's doing her like secret scroll thing. You must visit more often. The party wouldn't have been nearly as much fun without you. You're too now I feel like I'm the one being talked down to. The Queen sends her gratitude as well. She can now attend your summit. I'll be there as well, though incognito. Of course you will, Anise. Going to keep Kasmeer with me for a while. Yeah, we have much to talk about, don't we, Pet? Yeah, always talking down, always. But yeah, that's her character. Like, I've always thought Anise is one of the more consistently written characters. Like they do a good job of just her being her without the need to, like, try and develop her. She's consistently her. Whereas characters like Kasmeer, because we're, you know, closer to them for a long period of time, they go through a whole development, right? If you knew Estelle was guilty, why not just out her? Too close to the Queen for my claims to be believable without support. I'd lose much if our dear Jenna were incarcerated, and the misters know it. That's where you came in. All right. So, like, how does the Queen get incarcerated? Like, again, it's really unclear, like, how and there's going to be some conflict between whether or not this is, like, viable later on in Season 3. But we'll get to that much later. Well, I won't keep you any longer.
Is it just me, or...
Goodbye. So we did get the achievement for maximum amount of suspicion. Well, that wasn't by design. It's just because we suck. Okay. So, like I said, I think in the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty well done instance. Is it like super compelling and really subtle and slick as like a mystery solving thing? Absolutely not. But the game is not designed to do that. So for them to insert it and for it to be relatively satisfying, I think is pretty good. All right. They could have done much worse at that, and have done much worse at similar things at other times. So, all right. So, big fence here because we can't, you know, get down into the VIP area. That's where this party was taking place, right? We were down when we were talking to Estelle. We were down here, right? And then all this was where the party was. Okay, we got a letter. Waypoint news. Taimi, hi, I have good and bad news. I'd ask you what you want first, but, you know, it's the mail. Good point, Taimi. Now, as time goes on, this kind of stuff no longer necessary because Taimi invents cell phones and Twitter and everything else. God bless her. So, but right now, yes, Taimi's still using the pigeon mail. So, as you may notice, my WRD waypoint recalibration device works like a champion. I've been monitoring the waypoint network, and as the workers repair the waypoints, the vines aren't attacking again. So, did I mention I'm a genius? Yeah. We'll talk more about that later. Now for the bad news. It's Flaunt. No surprise there, huh? He insists that I give him a personal demonstration of how the WRD works. It's as if he doesn't believe that my device is actually causing the change. I'm afraid he's going to try to weasel out of coming to the summit. Alright, we may have to beat him up. So, back to Dry Top to help out Taimi. Might as well. I wonder how many of those keys I actually have left. It's not like we've been doing events. Is anyone doing Sand Giant? Nope. That one's a real... Sand Giant's a real pain in the ass. Relative to the reward, like, not worth the time. Honestly. Now, if someone was doing, like, if Grit Queen was happening, we would definitely join in on that. But, door's still shut. Oh, 5 minutes, it says in map chat, until Grit Queen. Well, we are not going to stand around for 5 minutes. So why do people regularly do Spirit Queen? It's not for the Master Point. And this is also mentioned in map chat, so I figured I'd mention it now. People regularly do it, so I guess it happens at the 10-minute mark of the sandstorm, apparently. And not at the beginning of the sandstorm, like I thought. So people regularly do it because there's a quartz node in there. And quartz is relatively hard to come by. And of course, there's always the possibility when you're mining the quartz that you may get an actual charged quartz on drop, which it would be like a good thing, right? Because otherwise, charged quartz is not only not only does it require just the regular quartz, but it's also time gated. So you bypass the time gate whenever you get one on drop. Having said that, I certainly do not like charge quartz every day, like religiously, as like part of my my gameplay. Just not that interested. All right, recalibrating the waypoints.
Taimi's just ahead. I'd go quickly though. Those Asuran representatives are getting impatient.
Okay. Well, let's do it then, Bram.
My crewmates at Rakasum have been monitoring the waypoint network. They say your device is affecting waypoints, not ley lines. Why?
Can't you see? I adjusted the settings in the waypoint so they process the flow of magic at a more stable rate. I'll put it in simple language for you. My device interfaces with the waypoints and captures on-the-spot readings of magic's rate of flow through them. Using a complicated algorithm that I devised, it calculates the exact minimum frequency required to keep the waypoint running. It then adjusts the waypoint settings.
Our readings are inconclusive without more information. We must demonstrate this device. Now.
Okay. Very demanding, Flunt is. I see you got my message. Thanks for coming so quickly. I hope you brought some weapons. Weapons? Oh. So it can beat Flunt's ass? Well, it is desirable, but we will not be assaulting Flunt today. Ah, foo. Okay, but he's insisting on a demonstration. I have some miniature waypoints I created for testing, so we can use those. So if you were already completely set up for the demonstration, what was your insistence on assaulting Flunt? Taimi is a child who enjoys assaulting, who is essentially like a senator within her little race. Alright. Maybe give them more juices. Change is obvious. I can increase the flow of leyline magic to boost their vibrations. Make them essentially almost as powerful as a real waypoint. Sure.
We're formulating a plan to demonstrate how the device works. You'll note that this chamber has a number of waypoint-like props. We'll show you how it works.
Little baby waypoints.
Miniature. You see, it's so easy, even a simpleton can do it. Take it away, Bram.
Nuh-uh. You're not fooling me again. Hey, boss. Why don't you take this one?
Okay.
There's an active waypoint. Well, a mini one. Great. Now take aim at the waypoint and fire away till its energy's gone.
So while we're firing at miniature waypoints, this is, and I kind of mentioned this last time, like this is the beginning of, it is working, Flunt, of Taimi's like way ridiculous, like MacGuffin level, being more of a genius than anyone else in all of Tyria.
Go get one more.
And it's, I think it's damaging to the story. It also makes the writers lazy, in my opinion.
Whoa, that click was not my fault. Not it.
It kind of was, actually, Time.
You're right.
So just a moment ago, Taimi said, or we discussed with Taimi, hey, we're going to crank up the power on these little baby waypoints, right, to make the demonstration like work like a, to demonstrate it would work on real waypoints. So obviously, when we did that, that resulted in Mordrum being attracted to the waypoints.
Big thing incoming, and it looks like it means business.
Big thing incoming.
The ley line energy. Quick, we need to make sure it can't get any more.
Oh no. Okay, so
Use my recalibration device. It'll be just like before, only with lots of evil players.
Alright, so we're going to try and power these down with this device before the ley leecher here can kind of take advantage or, you know, do what it wants to do. Oh no, watch out. You know, before it can do what it wants to do to these. Hey, why didn't you do your thing? I told you to do your thing, you stupid antelope thing. Ah, boo. I waited half a second too long. Get me up, Bram. Do your job. Alright.
Scruffy's readings say that it's hiding under a tendril. Look for one that isn't attacking back.
Is it that one? I think it's that one. Oh, maybe not. Oh, Bram found it. Good job, Bram. Woo, we found the ley leecher. Alright, Taimi, get on the device, because I'm kind of tired of your nonsense. So you have the option there, right? Taimi can use the device, and you fight all these things, or you get on the device, and, like, Taimi and Bram, I guess, defend you? So I never really, like, have Taimi defend me, because we know exactly how effective NPCs are in defending us when we're engaged in stuff like this, which is that they're trash, right? We saw it in the personal story when we were like firing at the bone ship and just getting wailed on by like a whole bunch of abominations or whatever. And in season 1, there was another time, I forget exactly when it was, but in season 1 there was another opportunity for a similar type situation where once again, while we're at something, that some kind of mechanism, the NPCs are completely failing to protect us. Oh, I forgot what it was. So, we're going to do the killing. We'll let Taimi do the mechanism thing. Alright, we almost to the point where we can finish this guy? Alright, cool. Kabram.
Just one more confirmation of how great.
Alright, that should be because Taimi was the one. Yeah, she didn't take any damage while she was the one on the thing. Alright, Flaunt. Hey, you okay over here? So these that's what scared Asura looked like. Burying his face in rock, apparently. Flaunt. Is it safe to emerge? It is. It is. Big one was the last one. There won't be more. We successfully recalibrated all the waypoints. As you see, Counselor Flaunt, this being Taimi, my device will save the entire waypoint network. You can thank me now and later. Flaunt, what do you think?
The waypoints are protected. Wonderful.
Wonderful
So,
indeed.
will you agree to come to the Grove Summit?
Not so fast, my muscular friend. In light of this new development, I have decided to add further stipulations to the deal.
What? You!
Silence, Taimi. As a ward of the College of Synergetics of Ragasum, you are required to hand over all inventions for study and documentation. I hereby claim proprietorship over this waypoint recalibration device. I will hold it in trust for you until your graduation.
No! I made this on my own time outside of Radasum.
Irrelevant. Hand it over like a good progeny, and we will see you at the summit.
No, won't let you take it.
What?
You wouldn't dare disobey your superiors, would you? Just hand it over.
Come on, calm down and think.
Told you, it's mine! Let's rumble!
After that delinquent.
Oh, everybody after the delinquent. So Flunt's kind of pulling like an NCAA, right? Like prior to NIL deals. Oh, we ran into a shield. Where he's saying, hey, because you're a minor, like, all your hard work belongs to me. Alright, like, oh, you're a really good athlete, your signature is mine. You can't use it to profit.
The death of me. My bet is she's headed deeper into the desert. And that means she's either in trouble now or will be very soon.
Indeed.
Let's go.
Yes, let's go, being we need to go find Taimi, right? Because presumably Taimi is in all kinds of trouble. Why is Taimi in all kinds of trouble? So we get why she ran off, right? That's pretty unfortunate that was the line that Flunt took. However, the problem is Taimi done run off. Oh, can you not stand on those? That's too bad. Can we stand on the ley line? But this is not a safe place, right? Like, Dry Top is not a place. Nope. Nope. Dry Top is not a place where Taimi should just be hanging out by herself. So we need to run down Taimi. Now, before we do that, I'm going to insert a break here for the video. So what have we achieved so far? Well, there was a little bit of a complication with Jenna attending the summit, in that one of the ministers was trying to set her up, frame her for some sort of conspiracy or something. So we assisted Kasmeer in kind of clearing that up. That resulted in Jenna now, again, being able to attend the summit, but also now Kasmeer's like hanging out with Queen Jenna's entourage, and presumably that'll be good for Kasmeer and her family, considering they were booted out of the nobility, right? And Taimi's waypoint recalibration device is working, and that's good. However, now Flunt wants to take control of it as one of the conditions for attending the summit. And she didn't like that, and she done ran off into the desert. So when we pick it up next time, we will also run off into the desert. So, thank you.